done.
Yeah, well, it is looking nice, but I did want to follow up about gas well issues. Are y'all doing anything differently over the last time that we talked about my concerns? Because unpopularity is definitely growing. There's a lot of information out on the internet about how OSHA, NIOSH is recognizing all the silica dust hazards to the workers. They can't speak to people on the fence line because they only are supposed to be, you know, regulating what the workers' health practices are. What do y'all have any kind of a statement to make about gas drilling near the children and the staff at the schools?
Well, you know, the city sets all the ordinances on drilling. What we do, we don't allow anybody to drill on our properties, and we have not leased any new leases in some time because there's just not much activity out there right now for that. We get royalties on existing leases, but we don't have any authority over the drilling piece of it.
But the airshed is still AISD property as far as, you know, the children's health. What safety precautions would you like to take going forward if this drilling boom comes back? Because as it is, the production equipment burps out so many VOCs per year into the airshed.
Well, and honestly, with us, you know, we rely on the city to set the ordinances to meet health standards and to control drilling activities and procedures, and so you know, they're the authority on that, and so that's who we look to set those standards and then to enforce them.
Well, there's a lot of loopholes in the city ordinance. They have language that says that they're supposed to be using best available emission control technology to minimize odors and particulates, and they're not enforcing it because we do have new technologies, and Chesapeake isn't using it. They're not rushing to use it either. And so with that in mind, and what we talked about earlier is that the health effects have never been studied or investigated. There was no environmental health impact study prior to allowing drilling. So whatever ordinance the drillers helped the city write has not been protective of public health.
Well, and I'm guessing you've expressed that to the city. But again, you know, they are the authority that sets those ordinances, and nobody can drill within 600 feet of our schools. And so, as long as they're meeting the city ordinance, then I think that, you know, they're in compliance with that, and we don't have any authority to take any action against a driller.
Well, did y'all ever entertain any ideas about having information about how to evacuate, you know, if there's any type of an emission event, how to check the winds and, you know, not necessarily go in the same safe spots that people, you know, meet up at because they have to look at the winds? I mean, that's...
We have a number of procedures in place in terms of different kinds of drills, whether it's weather or lockdown, intruder, this sort of thing. We have don't have one specific to a gas drill site incident or emissions, but we do have procedures in place for lockdowns.
Well, they did lock down.
Our schools have to practice those, and whether it's a weather drill or a lockdown drill, and they have to practice those, and they have to turn in that information to us.
Well, please keep in mind that, you know, might want to entertain that if there is any kind of explosive event, or, you know, where there's smoke and flames and lockdown and the winds are blowing towards the schools, you know, we did lock down 2 schools in Mansfield months ago when they had a drill site. And the reporter for the Star-Telegram, her and her son actually breathed that white cloud as they were trying to get into the school that was going into lockdown. So, you know,
if something occurred, we always work very closely with the fire department and emergency services, and that is something that I think should be real apparent right off the bat, is that, well, okay, if a situation were to occur, then we would make a decision jointly with them about, do we, shelter in place is what would generally be, I think, the action we would take.
With the air conditioners off.
With that, then I don't think there would be anybody outside. If we had to evacuate a school, then certainly before we evacuated it, we would work with them on what's the best and safest way to do that.
Because I think for the Mansfield one, they were able to turn off the air conditioners, but I know when they were fracking at Bailey Junior High, those 5 consecutive wells, I expressed a concern to be able to turn off the air conditioner system so it wouldn't draw any of those fumes in when the days that the winds were blowing that way, and was told that that was a centralized process. They didn't have any control over turning off their air conditioners. Is that true?
Well, in a lot of big entities do have central controls on EMS systems in order to help manage your energy costs. But yes, I mean, and we're all the same group of people that would respond on an emergency situation anyway, so they can shut it off and would be involved in that process.
Okay. Well, I just hope y'all put something out that's official to gas drilling emergencies as far as turning off the ACs, checking the winds, and seeing if lockdown is appropriate. Okay. So,
and we will look at that. That, you know, on our lockdown procedures, emergency drills, weather drills, that is something that gets reviewed every year, and we will have that conversation. But I've got somebody standing here in my doorway who's waiting for some report from me, and so I need to go take care of them too. So, all right. Well, if you see anything else of any concern at Arlington High, you know, let me know, and we'll take care of that.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Powell.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.